You are welcome to my channel again. So for today's tutorial, I'll be teaching us how to sew this corset with spiral design at the front of it. So what you'll be doing first is for you to draft your basic pattern. I drafted my basic pattern, then I ruled that line for the bust pan. That is that line, the bust part line, the bust pan line. So after you have ruled out the bus pan line. Remember your bus pan is nipple to nipple. That is what I mean. Nipple to nipple. So for this measurement, I'm making use of 8 inches bust pan, which I will be dividing by 2, which, and that is 4 inches. So I measured 4 inches both on the up bust, on the bust line, on the under bust, and on the waist, then at the full length of the blouse. Then I started um, drafting out my sweetheart neckline because the design is having sweetheart neckline. So what you just need to do is your from the up bust line, just come down by 3 inches, depending on how um, deep you want the sweetheart neckline to be. But 3 inches or 3.5 inches is okay. Then you go up on that line. I went up by half inch. That is why it's above. That's why it's forming an arc there. So I went up by half inch, then I connected it to the armhole. To the armhole. That is how I get the neckline. Then also, what I'm doing now is to draft out my armhole. Remember how you measure your armhole. So I'm drafting out my armhole and also to connect the neckline to get my shape, the shape of my sleeve, the sleeve. That is what I'm doing there. I connected it from the shoulder to the armhole to get the shape of my sleeve. So, and the length, the width of the sleeve is no more than 4 inches. So I connected it downward. Then I started doing the bust, the bustier. I'm drafting out the bustier. Just measure half inch on the from the center front. That's the one I'm connecting now. Measure half inch from above, connecting it to the bust line, like half inch above the bust line. Then on the other side, I removed 1.5 inch, sorry, 1.25 inch. Then I connected it also to the same point, to the same meeting point. Then I'll be coming to the under bust. The under bust, from the center, I removed half inch. Then at the other side, I removed 1.5 inch, which I am connecting as you see me do now. I am connecting it. That one stands, that stands for the dart, just the normal dart you'll be removing from your waist. You understand that? So I connected it and bring it down because I don't want it slanted. I drew it downward. Then I will move to the other side also to make sure my line is straight. I have to measure 1.5 too. So I'll be connecting that to downward, like you see me do now. Then I'll be connecting the curve to connect it to the um, bust line to bring out the shape of the bust. Hope we understand it to this point. So having done that, the what we have in the middle will be cancelled out because I'll be cutting it off. Remember, there is no sewing allowance. Then when I'm cutting it on the material, I'll be adding half inch sewing allowance to the side, to the lines I just drew, right? So now I'm trying to align to make sure my measurement is intact, and also I'm trying to add my sewing allowance of 1.5 inches. So I'll be connecting my sewing allowance like that for the side. But for the one in the center, I won't be able to add the sewing allowance there, but it's when I'm cutting it that I'll be adding my sewing allowance. But for the side, I have space, so I'm adding my sewing allowance of 1.5 inch. Now, what I'm doing from that above, before I connect my armhole, I need to return the one I removed the cup line. So I remember, if you had 1 1/4 inch plus one plus half inch, that's 1 3/4, and that's what I returned. I have to return it to the side of the hammer, or else we will be shorting material at that side. So take note of that, to return what you removed. Return what you removed. So after doing that, I cut my measurements. That is after I've confirmed all my measurements is intact. After all I have confirmed it, please, before you cut, as a fashion designer, measure twice before cutting. That is the saying, measure twice before cutting. So I have confirmed it. Then I'm also still confirming it by aligning the pattern paper together, and to see that my line for the backs is straight, right? So now this is for the back. You also do the same for the back by drafting out your basic pattern. Then at the zip line, I did not add zipper allowance because we are not using zip, is a corset. So on the center, for us to put our modesty panel, I removed 2 inches. I removed 2 inches. That's what I'm doing. I removed 2 inches. You can see that. So, and then also, I will be drafting out the armhole for the back, and the sleeve, I mean, for the back, because it is one off neckline we are dealing with. The design we are doing now is one off. So I'm also drafting out the neckline and the shoulder, I mean, the sleeve, the shoulder for the back. So that's what I've done, and I'm also adding my sewing allowance to the side as well before cutting. Hope we also understand this to this point. These are the basic things we need to understand. It's just, adding professionalism to the knowledge of your basic pattern that you've had. So that basic pattern is very important for you to know. Very, very important for you. You can't escape it. You build on foundation. You need to know your foundation first. So having done this now, I'll be going ahead to cut the back as well. I'll be going ahead to cut the, if you need a full tutorial on corset, you can check my channel, check my videos. I've loaded uploaded um corset tutorial severally, which is even more detailed than this, right? So if you need that, please just search through, you'll see the video, full well detailed tutorial for corset. So I'm now cutting out my sleeve. Also notice, for the sleeve, I'll be adding sewing allowance to join it back to the material, to the bodice. So remember to add half-inch sewing allowance to your own sleeve. I mean the down part, and both the side too. I won't be adding to the armhole side, but I'll be adding to the side, to the neckline side, and also to the down part, which will be joining to the bodies as well. Then remember to label it. Label it. If not, it will confuse you. You can see I write up and down, because by the time you mistakenly flip it over, these both the up and down will look alike. That is why I have to label it, right? So I'm cutting out the dot because I won't be needing the dot. I just needed to draft it out to get my dot, and I'll be removing it since I'll be joining it back, right? Understand? So make sure you just follow the step of what I am showing you here. Corset is not something that difficult. It's just a bit technical. Understand the design you are sewing, and voila, you get it. You will get it. So this is it. I've cut out, and then you can see I'm arranging it, and the sleeve, where the sleeve will be, just make sure you follow the processes, and you will get exactly what I am getting. All right, guys, this is it. I cut it. So I cut the main material, and I cut the lining. You can see this is the lining. This is the lining. So I added stay to the lining, and I also added stay to the main material. So hope this is very helpful for all of my viewers there. So, and the back too, I cut it the same manner. Sorry, I couldn't show us the video of the back, but you should just, when you draft your basic pattern for the back, at the center back, just remove 2 inches for the eyelet where you'll be inserting rope. When you remove 2 inches, just cut out 2 inches from the center back, and the rest you are good to go. So this is what you'll be having. This is what you'll be having at the end of everything. The same thing for this one too, lining and the major material. So from here, I'll be joining it. Now for the front now, this is how to join it. I'll join this to this, making sure that the underbust aligns. You can see I notched the underbust, so I make sure it aligns with the underbust of this one. So the same thing with this as well. I will join it. Also the lining, I'll also be joining it the same way. The same way. I'll be joining the lining too in the same manner. So this is it. This with this with this. After joining both the lining separately and the major material separately, then I will be using the lining to turn it from the neckline. I'll be using it to turn it while inserting one hand. You know it is one off. It is one off. The neckline is one off. So I'll be inserting one hand to this side before using the lining to turn it so that the stitch will be inside, right? So then I'll continue with the back. I'll show us the back too. So I am done with the back. This is what you'll be having for the back. This is it. This is it. So we have you can see the way it is. This is how your back will look like. So I'm able to do that. And we have this here. Just make sure, you know, I removed 4 inches from the center back. So make sure you have excess like 6 more inches after that 4 inches, that so that it will lay properly at the back. So this one, I attach it to this one. You can see it is being sewn. I attach it here to it, and we have it in excess. You can see it's longer than the material itself. The top itself is longer than it because it will go inside the skirt, right? So I've marked my 4 inches here. So the 4 inches I removed, so I'm replacing it with it. So this is what we'll be having. This is exactly what we'll be having when I place it. So we won't be sewing this with it, but this is the way, and this is the line for the highlights. This is where I'll be fixing the highlights. This is where I'll be fixing the eyelet. Then I've also attached the shoulder. I had to attach this to it at this stage because I needed it. I needed to have done that. So you can see the one shoulder it's having, and I have to attach this already to it because of the easy way to have a good and neat finishing. I have to attach it to it now, but I'll be managing it as I sew. Then the front, you can see I'll show us the front, how the front is. This is the front um sleeve, the front shoulder. So it's I'll be attached when I'm through sewing the front. I'll attach it to it too. So this is the way it is. It will look. You know, this one is falling. This spiral design is falling to the front. So here we have how the back will be set. So I'll be joining the front like I've explained to us, and I'll be fixing it just the same way. I turned the hand of the back here. The same way I'll also be doing the front. This is our lining. You can see the lining, and this is our front block. So I'll make sure center to center aligns. I'll need to cut away this bead. When you're sewing beaded bead, it can be just too stressful. They are so annoying that every bead you have to remove from the way. So let's continue. You make sure it aligns. So I'll start by stitching from the center of the neckline down to the armhole side, making sure it's the lining blends with it. And I'll be stitching the sleeve I attach with it. I'll make sure it is properly stitched on it like this. So I'm stitching the three of them together. The three of them together like this. This is the sleeve here. I'll place the lining on top and stitch it, starting from the center of the neckline. So just watch me. So once you are closer to the sleeve, make sure you check it properly that it is sitting well before stitching. Don't mind that sound though, it's the beak. I'll need to change my needle here. You see on this cloth, I've used over 3 packs of needle just on this cloth alone. It has damaged my needle, so I need to change it. So we are back here. I'll have to continue with the stitching. When you are sewing this type of clothes, you have to be very gentle with it. No need to rush. All right, so we are done with the first half. So I'll be stitching going through the second half of the neckline. Remember, we started from the middle. And you can see one of the ways you know you are getting it right is you can see the stitching line of the front aligns with the one of the lining. So let's quickly run through the second half. So this is what we'll be having. You can see the back, the sleeve of the back and of the front. From the style, you can see that this fishing line pleats, we have to cover it, just like you are seeing now. But I attached it underneath. I attached it to the blouse itself, to the corset itself. So after turning it, this is what you'll be having. You can see the clean neckline. You can see I have to be dragging these clothes because one side is pulling the other because of all the attachments it has. So you can see the neckline, you can see how neat it is, including the sleeve. The pins are still there, I will remove them. So you can see the neckline. This is what you'll be having if you follow it. The front has been fixed already. And this is the hand. This is how I fix the hand. If you check from the back, you can see the neat finishing, no form of stitch. There's no appearance of any stitch there. So what I'll be doing next is now this is the front and this is the back. So it's for me to place it on it. And so I'm going to be joining the front and the back together now. After joining the front and the back together, I will now be taping the down side. All this downside. I'll be taping it with bias. I'll be taping it with bias.
Joining it, this is how the inside looks like. This is how it looks like. So you can see how neat it is. You can see the hand. This is the inside. Then I forgot to mention that the boning, it's on the lining, not on the material itself. So when you look at the style from outside, you won't even know it's a corset. So the lining, the boning is placed on the lining and not on the material itself. And as you can see, the lines of the lining there. So this is what we have, and this is the front. This is the front. This is the front of the corset. So you can see how neat it is. This is the M line. You can see the clean finishing. Yeah. So the next thing is for me to tape it. Tape the downside, and then we are done for the top. So the next thing after taping the down part is for me to attach it to the skirt and fix the eyelet. Then we'll be also be arranging this spiral design on it.